Hello, welcome class. Everyone please take their assigned seats. And while you're doing so, please look at the objective for today. Can someone read the learning goal? Okay, Ashley. Yes, today we are going to be comparing materials and objects according to their properties. I want to go back to yesterday's lesson when we started talking about matter. So what we should know, I want to activate your prior knowledge. What do we know so far about matter? I'll give you a few minutes to think about it. Okay, Jonathan. Okay, so you can recognize that solids have a definite shape and that liquids and gases take the shape of their containers. Perfect, that is what we learned the other day. Anything else we remember about matter or anything from yesterday's lesson? Okay, Emma? Okay, yes, students are also able to observe and describe water in its solid, liquid, and gaseous states. Perfect, okay. So keep in mind our learning goal for today is comparing materials and objects according to their property. We're going to start off by a lecture of a PowerPoint to discuss matter and its different forms. Then we're going to demonstrate objects and examples and just discuss any other important facts that we need to know and learn about matter today. I have a really good YouTube link I'm going to pull up. Before I start this video, I want the class to take out notebooks, pencils, and write down some facts they learn about the video because I will be asking questions afterwards. We're not going to be talking, and remember, if I say 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, you respond 1, 2, eyes on you. We need to be quiet and pay attention. I will be walking around and monitoring the room, making sure everyone is writing down information they learned through the video. And remember, I will be asking questions afterwards.
Hey, what's matter? No, not what's the matter. Obviously, since you're here with me, you're pretty awesome at the moment. You might have heard that everything is made of matter, and that's true. You, soccer balls, iPads, even your pet Fluffy, all...
So keep in mind, writing down everything you think is important or that I will ask within this video. Alrighty, we know that matter is anything that has weight and takes up space. We learned that yesterday.
made of matter. So that's interesting. But what is matter exactly? The scientific answer is matter is anything that has weight and takes up space. You already know about weight, right? That's just how heavy something is. Like if you ever been to a doctor's office, the first thing they do is have you stand on the scale so they can measure how much you weigh. As for taking up space, another way of thinking about it is that all matter has volume. It simply fills the area it's in. When you pour water into a glass, for example, the water's volume is the amount of space that it takes up in the glass. So all matter has volume and weight, but it sure doesn't all look the same. Well, that's because matter comes in different forms, or states. Liquids are a state of matter that I'm sure you're familiar with. If you've ever poured yourself a drink while trying to watch TV, you might have noticed that liquids take up space, because once the space inside your glass is full, right on the carpet. Sorry, Mom. You also know that water has weight if you carry a water bottle. As you drink from it, it gets lighter because you're removing water from it. Solids are matter too, of course, probably the most obvious kind. Rocks are solid, and so is ice, which is just solid water. Soccer balls are solid, iPads, your pet Fluffy, and every single guy in one direction. And just like rocks, all those things have weight and take up space. Now, you know what's weird? Sometimes matter can't be seen or felt, but it's there. Like the air we breathe. Air is an example of gas, the third main state of matter. And I probably know what you're thinking. How do we know air, or any gas really, is there if we can't see it? Well, we can prove it by doing an experiment. Science. Let's start by asking the question, is air matter? Because if it is, it should take up space and have weight, right? To see if air takes up space, look it, I can easily drop an empty balloon.
Pay very close attention to this experiment that they're doing. You will be questioned about it later.
Into this little box, but a full one won't fit. That's because the air that fills the space inside the balloon is bigger than the space inside the box. Now, does air have weight? Let's try something else. Take 2 empty balloons and tape them to the ends of a meter stick. Then we'll hang the meter stick on a string so that it's perfectly balanced. Now let's see what happens if we blow up just one of the balloons and put it back on our meter stick. Check it out. The end with the full balloon sinks. It weighs more than the empty balloon because the air gives it extra weight. The balloon full of air will always weigh more than the empty one because air is matter and matter has weight and takes up space, whether it's a liquid, a solid, or a gas. So listen, the next time someone tells you that something doesn't matter, you can tell them to their face that technically everything is matter.
Okay, that's all I wanted to show for this lesson so far. That was a great informational video that we're going to be asking some questions about. I was very pleased when I was walking around and monitoring the students. Everyone was very quiet, paying attention, raising their hand if they had questions. But now I'm going to test if you were really paying attention or not. So some of the questions from the video I want to ask is, what is matter? You can give me a short answer. Okay, Josh. Yeah, everything around us is matter. Does anyone have a deeper explanation? Okay, Delaney. Atoms and compounds are all made of small parts of matter. Those atoms go on and build the things you see and touch every day. Okay, perfect. That is completely correct. So matter is defined as anything that has mass and takes up space, which then it would have volume. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. Okay. So what defines matter? Matter is everything that has mass and volume. So anything that occupies space is matter. For example, a car would be made of matter. It has mass and volume. It has stuff that occupies the space in it. So after you took notes and wrote down in your notebook about the video, I want to ask you some questions based on it. So in the video, what did they explain matter as? How did they define volume? Louis? Yes, it's the amount of space taken up by something. Perfect. Anyone have anything else to say about volume? Okay, yeah, that was very similar to Louis' response. Perfect. The amount of space taken up by something. So what about liquids? Can you tell me anything about liquids from the video? You guys can shout, make sure to raise your hands, not shout out the answers. But I heard yes, it takes up space. Can you give me an example of liquid? Yeah, it's on most of your desk, water bottles, correct? That was also the example showed within the video. They showed how water has weight, and as you drink the water, it becomes lighter. Okay, what can you tell me about solids? Can you give me any examples? Okay, yes. John, you said rocks? Perfect, rocks is a great example. Rocks, soccer balls, anything that takes up space and it has weight. Okay, this was a tricky question where I stopped the video and told you to pay close attention. Does air have weight? I want you to talk to your shoulder partner very quietly and discuss this question together, and I'll be calling on a few students. Again, does air have weight? Jessica, what did you and your shoulder partner discuss? You believe that yes, air does have weight? I'm hearing some people say no. Okay, well in the video they prove that air does have weight. Air is matter and matter has weight. It takes up space whether it's liquid, solid, or gas. Okay, no more talking to your shoulder partners, remember. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. 1, 2, eyes on you. Perfect. Okay, so now that we all have the correct answers on volume, liquid, solid, gas, and weight, I'm going to assign you to some groups. Each group will have different pictures, and they'll need... Okay, let me assign you in groups first. Okay, so each group will have this worksheet. Each worksheet is a little different, so you can't copy from your neighbors. I want each group to work together. This will not be graded, but we will be checking the answers together. In the worksheet, it's a matching worksheet. So example, we said a rock is what? Solid, yeah. So we match the rock and to the definition of solid. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to do that, but first, I want to remind students to work together in your groups. I don't want one person doing all the work. I want to hear you discussing only about the worksheet. Before we move on and complete the worksheets within our groups, I want one student to please reread my instructions or give my instructions again to make sure that the students understand it. Okay, David? Yes. Students will be working together in groups doing their matching worksheets. Perfect. No, not grade it. Correct. I will be keeping a close eye, walking around, monitoring students. If you have any questions, please remember to raise your hands. All right, now I'll pass out the worksheet. Please keep in mind that when you are finished, turn in the worksheets, please. Okay. And now, after we're done working on our worksheets, I want all the students to go back to their assigned seats, please. And now we're gonna read our standard together. Compare materials and objects according to the properties such as size, shape, color, texture, and hardness. That's what we're gonna be doing on the new worksheet, but we're gonna be working independently, no help from me, no help from friends, peers, anyone. And I'm gonna be grading the worksheet, and let's read the board. Given our matter worksheet, students must get an 8 out of 10 to achieve mastery. So you guys will be working independently, filling out this worksheet on matter. It's very similar to the ones you did with groups, and you had your chance to ask questions, but if you do need extra help, please see me. But try to do your best to get 8 out of 10 correct. Once students are done, they will hand in their sheets, and you will be doing an exit question. Students will be writing on a notebook paper all the properties matter has in order to leave the classroom. And I'll hand out those sheets right now that you can use. Okay, class, so by the end of this lesson, I now hope that you can compare materials and objects according to the property. And I hope that you all get an 8 out of 10 mastery on the matter worksheet.